here are the details. Film type, high performance hybrid calendar self-adhesive film. Thickness, 13 mil. Liner type, PET. Adhesive, solvent with air egress. Finish, high gloss. It comes in these colors and roll size. And here are the application uses. Now we move on to properties of the film. It has a high gloss finish, and the PET liner is clear, and it has the TeckWrap logo on the backside. Once you remove the liner, it has a medium to low initial tack, and to make it adhere to the surface, simply squeegee with firm overlapping squeegee strokes. Note that if bubbles do appear, they can be simply pressed away. Place a thumb or finger on top and let it sit. This will allow the air to spread out. No need to pick up or pop the bubbles. If a wrinkle occurs, simply pick the film up, add heat to trigger the memory effect, allow the film to cool, then squeegee it back onto the surface. No need to replace the film. And because the adhesive is white and the liner is clear with white print on top, it's highly recommended to mark the panel with arrows to denote direction in order to create a uniform look on the vehicle. And here are the recommended wrap tools in order to achieve a professional final install. Make sure the buffers and gloves are in mint condition. The first step is to remove any hardware, then clean the surface. Always use a highly absorbent microfiber towel, then come back, clay bar the surface, dry it, and do a focus degrease on the edges. Always make sure you put a squeegee in a microfiber towel and do a 360, then degrease the main surface. And the final prep step is to apply a coat of low-tack solution to the main surface area. Make sure the low-tack solution doesn't get on the edges and is focused especially on the body lines. On the box is important product information, including lot number, roll size, and a swatch of the color. When unboxing the film, also note that there's a hanger for inside the vehicle for the rearview mirror so the clients know how to properly take care of it. Keep in mind that this film has a cap sheet on it, so when placing it on the table, roll it liner side facing up, spray the cap sheet to remove it on the table. This helps reduce static electricity, and always recycle the cap sheet. For the install, it's always a good idea to masking tape any raised objects, in this case the molding at the top. Now come in with the piece and release the liner towards the vehicle. This is because of the low initial tack of the TeckWrap film, as well as using the low tack solution on the surface. Lock in one body line, pull evenly across, and then lock it from side to side. This is called creating a hinge. Then spray the buffer on the squeegee with the glide solution, in this case the same one that was used on the paint, and squeegee the film onto the surface with firm, overlapping squeegee strokes. If the material bunches up, pick it back up, shift the tension, and then go back to squeegeeing from left to right. If the film bunches up, and this can happen near the bottom of a door, add heat to the film and work slowly left to right. Notice the free hand isn't pulling, simply holding the film away. What the heat is doing is relaxing the film, and then it can be gently pulled to one corner and then pulled to the other corner. This creates 100% glass, and now the film can be easily squeegeed onto the surface with no tension. This helps create an even long-term hold. For the top, simply squeegee the film to the upper section there, as there's minimal tension. Make a relief cut, in this case to work around the mirror, and remove the excess film so it can be easily tucked to the surface. It's very important with TeckWrap to add heat. This triggers the memory of the film and causes it to shrink to the edge, and always do this before cutting. Good idea to cut on the opposite side so the film can be wrapped around the edge, and in this case, cut and then shrink. You can see that the memory of the film, even though this section wasn't stretched, allows the film to shrink to the edge for excellent long-term hold and actually makes the wrapping process easier. For the door handle that lays flat to the surface, here is cut on the top side, the material picked up and then fed inside the cup. No need to remove the handle, if done correctly. Once the film is into the recessed area, then use a squeegee to tuck it into the base. Now, use a tucking tool, in this case the wrap axe, to seal the deal. At the top section, add heat so the film shrinks. Once all the excess film has been removed from the handle, now focus at the top. The material can be tucked into this gap and cut away with a knife, or in this case, the wrap axe, which is extra safe and focused. Once cut, always seal the deal and open the door when necessary to form the film around the edge for good long-term hold. Always cut on the opposite side. Once everything's cut out, go over the main surface area with heat to check for bubbles. and it's a good idea to wipe down the surface with an aftercare product to remove any handprints and leave a perfect finish. And with that, we now move on to the door handle, and it's a good idea to use masking tape to lower the surface energy at the top section and prop it open. Clean the film and degrease it, and do what we at the Wrap Institute call zero stretch, which means taking the piece that's to be formed and heating it and shrinking it ahead of time. Natural tension comes from the manufacturing process, and that is neutralized by doing what we call zero stretch. Now hook the corners as if you're making a bed, form the film onto the surface, and in this case, feed the film into the tiny recesses there, don't bridge and push in. Relax the film on the outside edge so it shrinks. Now, once everything has shrunk to the corners and the edge, the film can be cut away. Use a very sharp knife at a very low angle, and once the film has been cut out, go around the outside edge with heat to make sure it's shrunk and all the edges are sealed, and with that, wipe it down. We now move on to the mirror, and the mirror should be wrapped in 2 pieces and not 1. This helps with long-term durability and quality. Triple S is added to the main surface to allow it to slide, and the piece, again, zero stretched, just like the door handle. Now that the piece is relaxed, it can be placed on the mirror, and because it was zero stretched, no heat is needed to stretch the film onto the surface. Zero stretch is very effective, and it's a technique that the Wrap Institute developed in 2021, and is a game changer for mirrors like this. Once the film has been stretched to one side, evenly stretch it back to the other side to make sure the tension is 50-50. Now add heat to relax the film, not stretch it. By pulling from side to side, then carefully picking the film up and adding heat, it can shrink to the edges with minimal tension, as you see here. Heat is added and the film simply guided to the surface. This helps avoid any type of overstretching and ensures good long-term hold. So adding heat, focusing, and in this case doing the shimmy to shake the film and relax it, and by taking it to the edge and tucking it, now you get full coverage and quality. Add heat to activate and shrink the film on the edges. Then once everything's set now, it's time to release the knifeless tape on the inside edge. Once everything's done, seal the film, and at the top, hit it with heat one more time to activate the adhesive, then cut away the excess film. You can use a knife, or in this case, the wrap axe, which is very safe and focused. Once all the excess film has been cut away, seal it with a tucking tool, and now it's time to move on to the back section. For the back section, add knifeless tape. Make sure the overlap is roughly 3 to 5 mil for good long-term hold, and it's always recommended to do the back piece last as this has minimal stretch. This will hold any tension from the main piece that was stretched around the curve. Heat the edge to seal it, and cut away the excess film. Always use a wrap axe when possible to avoid damaging the mirror. Once everything's cut away, come back in and seal the edge. Once everything's set, it's extremely important to post-heat, in this case up to 100 Celsius, but extra focus on the overlap. You can also post-heat the door handle cup, all the edges, and then ensure that the surface is smooth and high quality. Wipe it down one more time, and here's a shot of the final result.